Welcome to From Chaos to Peace with Conny, where I explore, often solo and sometimes with a guest, how a few minutes a day can keep the chaos away. And with chaos, I'm talking about the physical, digital, social, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual clutter that can accumulate in our life and business. My name is Conny Graf, and already as a little girl, I was aware of the effects our environment has on us. I would clear clutter and organize and reorganize environments way before anyone was talking about the life-changing magic of clearing clutter. Now I help others to move from chaos to peace, clear their clutter, and get organized in a way that works for them. Well, hello, my friend. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing? Thank you so much for allowing me back into your ears. And if this is your first time here, a very warm welcome to you. I'm really honored that you're checking out my podcast. This is episode number 156 of the From Chaos to Peace podcast, where a few minutes a day keep the chaos away and where you learn how clutter is so much more than you think and why I say that clearing your clutter is self-love. If you listen to this when it comes out on December 26th, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas or Hanukkah if you celebrate that. Now we are in between the years. The true Christmas actually originally started on Christmas Day itself. This seems quite unbelievable these days when the Christmas craziness and frenzy, how I call it, begins even before Halloween in some areas. But back in the day, December 25th actually marked the official start of the 12 days of Christmas, a period that in Christian theology is the span between the birth of Christ and the coming of the three wise men on January 6th. They call it Epiphany or also Three Kings Day. Even before there was Christianity, these days, just after the winter solstice, were celebrated and recognized. I'm not 100% sure who exactly started the traditions and rituals. In one source I read it was the Celtic, in another that it was the Welsh, and then in again another, the Irish. Either way, it originated in a pagan ritual, and I personally find it a very beautiful time to observe and to create rituals around, no matter what the origin is and no matter what we believe in or not believe in. A friend from home, and home is Switzerland, for those of you that don't know. So a friend from home introduced me to these rituals back in 2019. In German, these 12 days are called Rauhnächte. And when I tried to figure out whether they had a special name in the English-speaking parts of Europe, I came across the name Omen Days. So first, what is so special about these days? Well, these 12 days don't belong to the old year, but they also don't belong to the new year. Don't you notice that too? That it's like you already closed the old year off and the new year hasn't really started yet, and it's just kind of like this in-between time. Well, in the old days, they noticed that too. They called it no man's land or also no man's time, the days out of time. And why is that so? Well, again, they don't belong. They don't belong to the old year and they don't belong to the new year. And the reason why they don't belong is also because when they switched from the moon calendar, so creating the months by the moon cycles, to the calendar we're using now, which is based on the sun, these 12 days kind of were left over. And the Celtic folklore suggests that each day corresponds to one of the 12 months in the coming year. So basically, the first day of the 12 days of Christmas corresponds with January. The second day of the 12 days of Christmas corresponds with February, and so on. Now, the question is, when exactly do these 12 days of Christmas start? So not everyone is starting those 12 days of Christmas on the same day. It's really funny. Some started already on just after the winter solstice. And the winter solstice is December 21st, so they would start right after. Others say, no, these 12 days start on December 24th. And Christians started them just after December 25th, so that these 12 days ended on January 6th, which is called Three Kings Day. Now, growing up, we didn't celebrate these 12 days of Christmas, but we did celebrate January 6th, which is interesting. To this day, Three Kings Day is celebrated in Switzerland, and there is a special bread that is baked, and you can get it in every bakery or store. And inside of it, there is a little king, a king figurine. And the game is that you share this bread with family or friends, or even with your work colleagues, and whoever has the little figurine in their piece of bread is going to be king for the day. And as children, we really loved that ritual. So even though we didn't celebrate the 12 days of Christmas, we kind of celebrated the end of the 12 days of Christmas, which is really fascinating. So anyways, my friend from Switzerland introduced me to this old ritual of the 12 days of Christmas. And so I started to celebrate it myself. These days sometimes are called omen days because the Celtics believed we are getting a glimpse into what will come our way in the new year. So this is the ritual I do during these 12 days, and feel free to copy or adapt whatever you like. And if you find it just silly, that's fine with me too. I just wanted to share it with you because I really feel like these days we don't have enough rituals. It's more about commercialism and buying gifts and eating way too much food than actually really having a ritual. So anyways, get off my soapbox. So here is the little ritual I do. I start on December 25th. So basically the night from, in German it's called Rauhnächte, which means smoky nights. So it's about the nights and the days. So I start on the 25th. So basically the first day is from December 25th to the 26th, and then so on. So throughout the day, I pay attention to signs, thoughts, and feelings that come up. And I write them down in my little journal, or you can also use a specific notebook just for that alone. The first year I did this, I had a specific notebook just for these 12 days of Christmas. But actually now I realize that if I want to keep this a little bit close to my heart throughout the whole year, throughout the whole coming year, I'm better off to write it down in my regular journal. So that's what I'm doing now. I write it down in my regular journal so I can flip back, like when we're forward in March or in April or something, I can go and flip back and see what the message was back then, so if you want. So anyways, I pay attention during the day to signs, thoughts, and feelings that might come up. And you may wonder, what signs are you talking about, Conny? But I feel like you can decide yourself if something is a sign or not. If I, for example, see 11:11 on my kitchen stove or on my cell phone, I look at that as a sign, not just on these 12 days of Christmas, just in general. Or if I go on a walk and I find a feather, or I find anything else special that catches my eye, I look at that as a sign. But again, you decide for yourself what a sign is for you. It could also be, for example, a special phone call. Somebody calls you out of the blue after Christmas. It could be a special gift, or it could be a paragraph in a book that you're reading. Whatever. Whenever you feel inside of you, oh, this is a sign, take it as a sign, write it down, and see what happens. Okay, so that is the first part. The second thing I do during these 12 days of Christmas is every day I listen to a specific meditation that another Swiss lady is offering. It's a special meditation for each one of these 12 days. And again, so then each meditation represents the energy and the atmosphere of the upcoming month. So the meditation for day 1 would then be corresponding to January, the meditation on day 2 corresponding to February, and so on. I think you get it, no? So I just take the 10 minutes or so, it's usually not much longer, and listen to that meditation. And then right after the meditation, usually, unless there's something else happening, but usually right after the meditation, I draw an oracle card. And this card gives me an extra clue or another sign for the coming year. So again, on the first day, I would draw a card for January. On the second day, I draw a card for February, and so on. And I usually use my Animal Spirit Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reid, which gives me then a spirit animal for each month. And I actually really like that. So then I have a spirit animal that protects me for each month of the coming year. This is my little ritual. It's like literally it doesn't take that long, but it is intentionally taking time to celebrate this time between Christmas and January 6th. And you can take this as serious or not serious as you wish. I find it beautiful, and I find it helps me slow down and to live these quieter days between the old and the new year a bit more intentionally. And if you listen to my podcast or read my blog for any amount of time, you know that being intentional is really important to me. I do an intention setting ritual every new moon. I also do an intention setting for the new year, but not on January 1st, like you might think, but on December 21st at the winter solstice. So on December 21st this year, I did my intention setting for the entire year, 2023. And then I usually also pull an oracle card that represents the whole year. And then during these 12 days of Christmas, I let the universe give me a glimpse of what each month is going to bring me and bring my way. And as I said, and I also draw another oracle card, so I have a spirit animal for each month. So then I have basically a spirit animal for the whole year, and I have a spirit animal for each and every single month. By now you might think, okay, Conny, interesting, but what does that have to do with decluttering, and getting organized? Well, the joke isn't lost on me. So this year, the card I actually drew for 2023 was number 28, Frog Spirit. Now get this. It says underneath, clear out the clutter. Yes, you get it. That's my theme for 2023. I had to laugh so much. And it says here in the description booklet, Frog Spirit knows that while all the other frogs are croaking away, do you say that like that? Croaking? I guess so. This is a time for you to simplify and declutter your life so you can feel content on your own lily pad. Yes, so, okay. The universe tells me that in 2023, my theme is clearing out the clutter. Thank you very much. Well, anyways, again, you might be wondering, what does that all have to do with you? Well, I'm glad you asked. So if this ritual I just mentioned to you of the 12 days of Christmas is not really an option for you, or you find this a little silly, I have another little ritual for you that you could do. And as I said before, for thousands of years, even before Christianity, this time between the years, with its very special and quiet energy, was about looking inward and letting go of the past. So basically letting go of the old year and letting go of what you don't need and don't want to hold on to. So it was a time for reflection. It's a time that gives us the opportunity to look within ourselves and focus on what we want and need, and what we don't want and need anymore and can let go before we step into the new year. Here is a little ritual that I invite you could do. So if you wanted to celebrate this letting go part, this decluttering of the mind, if you will, and you wanted to give it a little bit more meaning by actually doing a little ritual around it, here is what you could do, for example. Alone, or you could gather your family or some friends and do it as a group. What you do is you make a fire outside or in your fireplace, but just be safe around fire, okay? If you have no safe place for the fire, then skip this part. But for those of you who have a fire pit outside or you have a fireplace in the house, make a fire. Then step 2 is grab a piece of paper and write down the things you want to let go of. For example, you could write down limiting beliefs, negative self-talk, perfectionism, whatever it is. You just write it down on that piece of paper. Then you fold this piece of paper together or you crumble it together or whatever. And then one after the other tosses the paper, their own paper, into the fire as a symbol of release. And you can say out loud, or if that feels awkward, say it to yourself, I let you go with love. And for those of you who don't want to or can't make a fire because you don't have a safe place for it, you fold the paper too, and you either rip it into small pieces, or if you have a shredder, you can also shred it, or you just find another safe and maybe even fun way to destroy this piece of paper with all your mental clutter on it. And you do this in a ritual to symbolically celebrate the letting go part. After you let go of the old, you will be able to set goals, intentions, or resolutions for the coming year from a clean slate. So if you do this ritual before January 1st, you can still have your resolutions for the new year. It's just from a cleaner place. So I really invite you to try this out and let me know how it goes. And if you don't want to try it out, that's fine with me too. I'm wishing you anyways beautiful days of release during these 12 days of Christmas, and all the best and lots of love, laughter, and success for 2023. Thank you for listening to my podcast and to listening all the way to the end of this episode. Okay, my friend, that was it for this week, and actually that was it for this year, for 2022, as next week we've already entered 2023. Have a beautiful and amazing week. Talk to you next time. Take good care and be safe. If you enjoyed this podcast episode and you want to go on a journey from chaos to peace in your home, office, and finances with me as your guide, opportunities to work with me one-on-one are available. Go to connygraf.com, CONNYGRAF.com to schedule your own personal Clutter to Clarity chat. And we will see if working together is a great fit. That is connygraf.com, CONNYGRAF.com.